today because we will have today a very good topic, very practical one, which everyone or each of every one of us will definitely love. It's how to stop doubting ourselves, how to stop doubting yourself and live a more happier and fulfilling life. Because have you ever felt that you doubted yourself or that you are not enough? That you were, even you achieved a lot, you were thinking if it was really enough, if your work was enough, or if you are enough. If this resonates with you, this episode is definitely for you. Today in Jana Talk podcast, I'm joined by Chris Ulliott, a special guest, a life coach, mentor, and also book author called Self Doubt to Happiness, who has been researching or who has spent more than 30 years of research how to live more happier and fulfilling life. And nowadays, he's helping people to do the very same, to live a more fulfilling and happier life and stop doubting themselves. So, in today's episode, we will discover why do we self-doubt ourselves, what is behind this, practical steps, what to prevent this self-doubt, and also how to heal ourselves, and how to rebuild self-worth, and many other topics and practical tips. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my today's guest, our Chris Ulliott. Hello, Chris. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you so much. Wow, what an incredible opportunity this is to be on your podcast. Thank you so much. I know we've been trying to get together for a while now, and it's so good that we can finally do this. It's such a privilege and honor to be on your podcast. Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you and that you are also part of today's episode because we have known each other for I would say maybe 5 years, no 4 years, maybe something
For
like this,
years, yeah.
right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that you are a wonderful life coach, and I know a bit about from your background and what you do for people. When I was also going through your website, I found out that you have also free courses. The book is for free to download. So really amazing things what you do for people. How did you become a life coach? When did it start? This topic by you?
So I've been coaching people for about 7 years, Jana. But for me, it started a long time ago because there's a reason why I became a coach. And that's because life hasn't always been perfect for me. You know, like for many people who seek coaches, people struggle sometimes with different things. And I was one of those. So when I was very young, when I was about 11 months old, I lost my father in an accident. And because of that, I struggled with traveling. I struggled with going places, even to the local city or to a different town to stay in a hotel. I would really struggle in myself. And I would grow up and people would tell me if I don't go places, then life's going to be difficult for me. I'm not going to see places. I'm not going to meet people. I'm not going to have a good job. And I took all of this on board in myself. And we weren't doing well financially. We were in a small, cold house growing up. And I used to look in the mirror, Jana, and I used to say, is this it? Why me? Why does life have to be like this? And I wasn't doing well in school. And I was thinking, is this how life's going to be? Am I not intelligent like other people? And can I not do things that other people do and have a life like other people? This was exactly what my life was like for years. Just staring into a mirror saying these things and how I really felt deep inside. But I found a way to really get through those thoughts and to come back with a determination that really changed everything for me. And because of that, when I look around at other people, Jana, and I see them struggling, and everybody has a nice front. We all put on the airs and graces. We want people to think we're doing okay, but on the inside, sometimes we're not. And that was exactly what I was like. But now I found this determination, and when I see other people, I just wanted to help them find their determination too, and really build a life that is happier and that is fulfilling and meaningful for them. So that's what I'm about. That's why I started coaching. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. I know you've spoken to many coaches on your wonderful podcast, and just listening to a few of them, I think it's common between us all. It's such a good thing when you're able to move someone from a place of self-doubt to a place of feeling stronger and happier and more fulfilled.
Yeah,
Does
absolutely.
that?
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. Yeah, why do you think so many people struggle with self-worth? Because, I remember when we met by Tony Robbins' UPW, by the huge event in Birmingham. I remember that I was really shocked that there were 12,000 people, and the topic number one people were solving and struggling with was self-worth, self-love. Why so many people do struggle with self-worth?
One thing that Tony often speaks about is the fact that one of the greatest problems that we all have is that we think we shouldn't have any. Right? I mean, it sounds funny, does that? But it's true because if we don't have any problems in life, we're not going to grow, we're not going to find new things, we're not going to reach out for more. So problems are not the main cause of our issues. What it is suffering. So if we're stuck in a problem, if we're stuck in the pain and we're unable to move out, that's when it's a real issue. It's not about having day-to-day problems and pains and things like that, because they're actually good in a way. Not nice at the time when you're going through them, but I'm sure many of your listeners are able to look back on their life and able to say, you know what? Yeah, we went through that. It was difficult, but it meant that something good happened. We found new friends, or we moved house and found a better place, or we found a better job. We were fired and we were expecting to be fired, but we found a better job. So problems and pain, temporary pain, is not a bad thing. So we all feel these, but we don't all have to suffer. We don't all have to stay in those pain. And that's what it's about. We all have doubt in our lives because, from a very young age, if you imagine when you're first born, everything is done for you. If you've got someone looking after you, your mom, your dad, or someone who's assigned to look after you and give you that love, everything is done. You're fed whenever you make a noise. You're kept clean. You're taken places. You're integrated with other children. Everything is done for you. But then you get to a certain age when all of a sudden, no, things aren't done for you unless you behave a certain way. And you learn very quickly you have to do something for that attention. And we carry that with us for the rest of our lives. We have this feeling, this sense that at some point we aren't enough unless we do something. So we're all the same. We all have these feelings, these different ways of worrying about whether we're good enough or not. But some people find a real struggle with it and suffer with it, whereas others find ways to deal with it and capably feel better in life. And that's what it's about. Does that make sense?
Maybe yeah, yeah, absolutely. What came up to my mind is maybe victim mentality, that some people can live in the victim mentality. What do you think about it?
Yes, absolutely. So people can get stuck in the feeling of, why me? Like I used to. I used to just be looking in that mirror all the time. Why is my life like this? And I would feel as though it was everything that happened to me was really nasty and mean. And I would look at friends and I would say, you know what? Why don't they have such a good life? And I think this is quite common today with a lot of people I meet in my coaching, Jana. A lot of people will say, I look on Instagram and I look on Facebook at people I know and their lives are so good. Why isn't mine? What's wrong with me, Chris? What's going on with me? Why do I have to cope with this? And, because you talk to a lot of coaches and you'll know people don't reach out for help until they're at a place where they're really struggling. They don't reach out for help until they hit a particular point of pain where it's really bad, Obviously, if they called out earlier, then that would be much better for them, right? But it's an expense, and you've got to have courage, and you've got to trust someone when you're reaching out for help. So many people don't do it until they get to a really bad place. So I always know this and appreciate this, and appreciate people being courageous when they first reach out to me for their coaching, for them to learn to feel better. It's going to take a little while to get the relationship there to really help them as well. Yeah.
It's yeah, perfect, perfect. What also came up to my mind when you were talking is that in this type of mentality, where I also used to be, was that life we might tend to think that things or life happens to us, but not for us, and there is a huge
Mm.
difference not only in the English but also in the meaning, that when we think about that it happens for us, that means for our good, and that we can, from any obstacles, we can learn, we can learn something new, and we can grow.
Yes, it's such a wonderful thing is that life happens for us, not to us, because here's the thing, even in the darkest of days, even it's like, how can that be for me? How can my mother passing be something for me? That was something that happened to me. So I went to a Tony Robbins seminar 30 years ago or so, and it worked brilliantly. It got me finding my passion, and I was able to travel and then learn to be a coach. So I'm eternally grateful for that. But in 2012, something else happened that really knocked me. Because I grew up without a father, I was a bit of a mummy's boy, I was close to my mum, and in 2012 I lost her. And
Mhm.
I went through the natural grieving process, but I just lost my passion. My wife said to me, I know you're okay, but you're just not yourself again. And maybe we should go back and see that guy and go to that seminar and be coached by him, and learn the skills to coach other people as well. And so we went, and I found the reason why there was not some good, but something meaningful in my mum passing. And what that was, I don't mind sharing this, although it is quite personal, and this won't be the same for everyone. But for me, because I was such a mummy's boy close to her growing up, it was almost as though I realized that I would never be the man, the independent, self-supporting man and husband and coach that I'm born to be for as long as I was mummy's boy. So it was almost as though her final parting gift to me was to let me go, was to leave me, and that came to me, and that just changed everything like a light bulb. It was just incredible. So that's what life coaching does for people. It helps people particularly find in those moments, in the really difficult moments in life, the ones that really can affect us. Really, is that working for me? How can that be? How can it be not a good thing, but how can I understand that it's meaningful for me? How can I understand that there is some positivity out of this that is going to make me grow? Because it's all about growth. And we're not going to grow without some pain, right? That's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling that sometimes people can be scared of growing. What do you think about it?
Yeah. Oh, we can
Until
be
they
scared.
reach a certain point.
Yes, we can be absolutely scared of growing, Yana, because we don't know what the pain is going to be like and what's going to be on the other side of it. What will we learn about ourselves, about other people? There's a lot of fear, but there's also this thing, Yana, where people always go to their emotional home. What you find is people who are scared of growth may just be scared of different things in life and need some more courage, need some confidence in themselves, which we're certainly able to help them with on that. But but people go to an emotional home. There was a seminar running during 9/11 when that terrible incident happened in America. And there was people there. There was all sorts of backgrounds in this seminar, thousands of people. So there was Muslims people there. There was Jews there. There was Christians. There was non-believers, and everybody was having not based upon religion, but everyone was having a different reaction. Some people were feeling guilty that they weren't there to help. There was doctors there who were thinking, I shouldn't be sat in this seminar. I should be there helping. And I feel so guilty sat here just doing nothing. And there was people there that were angry. How the heck could this happen in our place? We should never let this happen. Not in America, not here, not now, this should never happen. And then there was those, well, I understand how it's happened because, they've been doing so many bad things historically and people are angry. People want retribution. And there's so many different emotions. There was those that were dreadfully, utterly beside themselves with sadness and couldn't speak because they were sobbing so hard. Thing is, all of these people, when they were being interviewed, admitted that these emotions were the emotions that they go to whenever they are under stress. It's the same emotions. It's not the event that chose the emotions for them and forced these feelings upon them. The event put them in a high emotional state, but they were choosing unconsciously the emotion because it was their home emotion to go to. And this is what people tend to do. Guilty people will always feel guilty. Sad people will always feel sad. Angry people will get angry. But when we can find confidence for people, when we can move them away from self-doubt, when we can build a happier life with people, then what happens is they get a control over those emotions and they don't need to go there so often. That's what it's about. Building ourselves up and growing. And it may be fearful at some times, especially for those that go to that place. They may be fearful of growing. But once they get through that pain, once they have that understanding, but not just understanding it in here, because that's easy. We can all take on the knowledge, we can all listen to a podcast. But once you understand it in the heart, once you feel the difference, that's when people grow. That's when people start to see changes in their life. That's when the relationship with themselves starts to change, starts to grow. That's when the relationship with other people in their life starts to change, because they get the change in their heart. They feel the difference rather than just understanding it. Like, anyone can go and read a book. Let's read the latest book on self-help. Let's go and read about NLP or hypnosis, or let's go and read any book that's out today and learn the latest things on how to feel good. But head knowledge is not going to change anyone. Heart knowledge is experiencing the new emotion. And so as a coach, that's one of our skills that we are taught on, or that we learn, so that we can easily help people change what we call their state, to move from one place to the other. And we do it time after time after time. So by doing that, people learn to do it for themselves. That's what it's about. So yes, long answer to your short question. But people can certainly feel scared of growth. But it's a default emotion, Jana, that people feel, that they go through. And if you can help them with those default emotions, help them to be more courageous, to understand what courage is, to understand what confidence is, and to feel it in themselves. Once they do that, that's what it's about.
Amazing, Chris. What I have, well, the main idea of what you were just talking about is feeling the difference, feeling the growth is something totally different than just learning it or just reading it. So it's important part of this process, of this growing or learning process, is to get with inside, or fully with our emotions, right? With the
Yes.
feelings.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the more you feel them, especially when you're learning these things, the more you feel them in your heart, the better. The more intense the feelings. The more we go from the negative to the positive over and over again, getting the pattern in. It's all about spotting the patterns that people run and then giving them
Yeah.
new patterns, right? And we all have these patterns. Some are positive patterns, some not so positive, you know. And you can see it in people's bodies, how they hold themselves, at what patterns they have sometimes, you know. You can see, is this person, are they looking after themselves physically? Does that show? Or do they smile? Does that show? You can always know. In fact, if you ask somebody who's coming to you feeling depressed, for example, if you say to them, okay, I'm not very good at being depressed, maybe show me how you do depression so I understand more. You know, we all know how to be depressed wherever we're from. My wife is from the other side of the world, and they know how to be depressed as well. They know they have to look down. They know they have to breathe a certain way, you know. They know they have to shrug their shoulders and speak slowly and feel that deep sense of sadness and cry. And, you know, we know how to do this universally. Um, so it's not an individual thing, but once you can see those patterns in people, whatever they are, whether it's sadness or whether it's feeling self-doubt, once you see the patterns and you're able to consistently put new patterns in place and keep doing it over and over with that in the heart, and that's how we achieve real change in people. And thing is, what I've found is it doesn't take years to do this. If you think about, maybe if you have a phobia or something happened in the past and it affected you for the rest of your life. That thing that happened, how long did it take? You know, usually we find maybe someone was in a car accident and they were fearful of driving after that. But that car accident took seconds to happen. You know, very quickly we learn negative things, you know. So equally so, we can very quickly learn good positive things as well. Our ability to change is incredibly fast, but there's always some reason why people like to hold on to things in the past. So once I, as a coach, teach people how to change what we call their status, how they're feeling, and we change it over and over, change those patterns, the next thing to do is to understand why for the past 10 years, 20 years, why have we been going over those things, feeling them over and over, if it's so easy to change? You know, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, understanding why, and then we can stop doing that because we're doing it to
I think
ourselves.
it's the most important part is to realize it, right? Because when I realize that I have, I don't know, some pattern, then I can start working with it and changing it.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and we can all find patterns in ourselves, you know, because we all live in this modern age. We're all finding new patterns over the last 20 years because of social media and being online, and our minds are changing, right? They are actually changing, and whereas I used to look in the mirror and go, why me? Many people are now looking at themselves on Instagram and going, why me? You know, it's true. It's true. It's the same emotions, just a different tool to get there.
The only thing with social media is a great tool, but it's I believe that we need to have some social media distance as well to live like normal life and not be influenced by it as much. Because as you have mentioned, that many people tend to compare themselves with so many people all around the world nowadays because of social media, and
Yeah,
they might forget that what is in social media, there are only ups, there is only the positive side, but people don't put in the social media their downs, right? They only put their highlights of
that's right.
life. So
That is right. That's the thing. And again, just like we've been talking about the home emotions we go to, as people are looking at all of those people on their social media, which emotions do you think they go to? It's the same.
Negative one.
It's
Yeah.
negative ones, but it's the same home emotions. So the angry people will look at those posts on social media and they'll get angry and maybe start attacking in some small way those people that are online. We know that happens. But sad people will look at those and they'll say, why can't I have a life like that? And they'll make themselves feel sad. And jealous people will look and get envious of those things and maybe upset at those things. So whatever their home emotions are, people will feel them as they scroll through these wonderful looking lives on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media. And they do this to themselves. It's these things, these things that people experience and they feel inside are 100% what they are doing. And it's causing them to feel. If we change what we do, if we change the patterns of what we do, then we will change ourselves. We'll find a way. And we can, once we understand that and start feeling it in ourselves, then we can start to build a happier life for ourselves.
I love your sentence. If we change what we do, we change our life.
Yeah.
Because if we continue in the very same way, everything we do, everything, we will have the very same result, right? So if we want to change anything, we need to start changing things. Where would you propose, or where do you suggest is the best to start changing things?
Of course, I'm going to say, get a coach, right? Your podcast is full of coaches, but that's because this really works. It really works, and it doesn't take long. It's a very simple process. I mean, I've taken you through a couple of steps, right? It's not rocket science, but here's the thing: you need a guide. You need someone to take you through it. You need someone to take you through these steps. You need someone to say, hey, you're getting it in your head, I can see that, but you need it in your heart to feel the change. And you need someone who can show you exactly how to do that so you do feel better. I can remember, Jana, I can remember a client of mine not too long ago. And I live in a village, and there was a farmer that came to see me. She texted me and said, "I don't know if you can help me. I'm in my 60s and I think my life's over." So I texted back and said, "I don't know too, but why don't you come and we'll have a conversation?" And she came, and this was quite interesting because she didn't know me. She wasn't the type of person who would go to therapy or to a life coach or to a psychologist. She's farmer. She just does what she always has done. And she knocked on my door, Jana, and as soon as I opened it, she physically burst into tears, like immediately. I said, "Oh dear, come in," I said. But I said, wait a minute, because before you get upset, I just want to go and make a cup of tea. I'm British, so I like my cup of tea. Always got me cup of tea with me, right? So yeah.
Your cup of coffee. Me too. I have it here as
Yes.
well.
So the thing is, Jana, as soon as I said, wait a minute, she stopped crying instantly. And I went and made a quick cup of tea and came through and said, "Now, tell me what's happened." And she started crying again. And I said, "Just notice, first of all, I haven't done any work with you at all. But I just said, stop crying, and you stopped crying. You did that, not me. You have control over your emotions." That was the first lesson. And then I said, "Tell me what's wrong." And she said, "Chris, I'm a farmer and we look after pigs. We're like a hotel for thousands of pigs. And they come to us, they grow up for 6 to 12 weeks and then move on to the next place. But we've got all of our eggs in one basket because we're supplying them all to one place. And this place we supply our pigs to," she said, "they've said that we've got to have concrete floors in the farm." She said, "Chris," and she started crying again. She said, "Chris, I can't afford over £100,000 to put concrete floors everywhere in my farm." I'm going to lose the business. They're not going to want our pigs anymore. And I don't know what I'll do. I've got horses, I've got dogs, we've got the pigs. My husband works the farm. It's all he's done since he was a young boy. And we're going to lose it. And I don't know what to do. And she was so distraught, so upset. She was genuinely hurting over this, and I listened to her story for a while, because this is what we call it, people's story, when they tell us from their perspective where they are and what's happening to them as they believe, and not for them. And I just said to her, I said, do you like to go on a holiday? And she said, yeah, but what's that got to do with pigs? And I said, quite a lot, actually. Do you like to go on a holiday? And she said, yeah, I go every year. I said, that's great. I said, are you the one who plans them, or is it your partner that plans them? And she said, oh no, it's always me. I like planning them. She said, I go online and I look at where we're going, and we invite different friends to go with us sometimes, and we plan where we'll go for meals and what we'll do and what we're going to pack. And I get so excited when I'm planning where I'm going to go on a holiday. Yeah, I know. I like holidays, she said. But she had this confused look on her face. I said, well, you know what? You're just about to plan the greatest holiday in your life. I said, what you're feeling is not anxiety. What you're feeling is excitement. This is excitement, what you're feeling. I said, you've just got to do the same thing. So what do you need to do? What do you need to do to plan this incredible holiday? Because if you need to move from the farm, you need to go somewhere else. Who's coming with you? What do you need to take? Where will you go? What new friends will you have? What places will you find? Get writing it down now. How would you plan your holiday? Write it down, because this is the biggest in your life. Yeah, this is not anxiety. This is just so much excitement that you've gone to tears over this. And she started to feel different in herself. She stopped crying and started writing. And you know what, Jana? That was the only session that I had with this lady. But the thing is, a few weeks after, I got a WhatsApp from her. And I don't use WhatsApp very often myself, and it was a surprise to me. She just did it out the blue. And it was a photograph of her up in Scotland. And it just said, Chris, I love Scotland. Maybe this is the place I'm moving to. And that was just such an incredible moment for me as a coach, just to know that she'd just got that change in her. I haven't solved her problem. I can't as a coach, I'm there to help her find the resources in herself to solve the problem. And she'd certainly done that. She had so owned that, And yet she wasn't the type of person that would come for coaching, but when she did, she really got the benefit from it. She really saw the change in herself just by that simple switch of emotion, from her calling it anxiety, from her thinking her life is over, to thinking she's actually going to plan the greatest holiday. Yeah,
Absolutely. This is amazing example, because I really loved how you described the situation with her, with your client, how you amazingly changed the state of her mind, state of her emotions
yeah,
by changing the topic from the very sad, frustrating topic into positive one, so she could start feeling better and also thinking in a different perspective. This is amazing. This is amazing.
yeah. Yes, and that's the realization, the way people feel during the sessions. It really is incredible. But, as a coach, I just wish that people would come earlier, because they always wait until it's so incredibly bad. Either they feel so bad in themselves, like their life can't go on, or they won't know what to do, or they don't know where to go, and they're so bad, or they're so angry at life, they've become into such a state of such anger, or they're they can't get on in the relationship. I've recently finished doing some relationship coaching for a couple down south. They've been married 20 years, and yet they've been married shouting and swearing at each other for 20 years. They love each other. They love each other. They live together, but the relationship just hasn't been there. And the thing is, people, you don't have to go through life like this. You can have the relationship. Just find the way, reach out, speak to someone who does this. And literally within a few weeks, you will start to feel the changes. You really, really will. These people, I remember one man telling me that he invited his wife to the cinema at the weekend as a peace offering. As a peace offering, And she said, "Why the bleep would I want to go to the cinema with you? Why?" And that was where the relationship was. Yet after a couple of coaching sessions, after teaching them relationship skills, and after teaching them about self-doubt and how that's crept into not just themselves, but the relationship, when they saw that, they just started to change. And in the last session with them, I did the last, sometimes I do them independently, sometimes I do them together. The last session was together. They were facing each other and they were sobbing and hugging and crying and going, this really works, and it really, really does. So yeah, people just reach out to myself or to any of the people on Jana's amazing podcast, because everyone's here to support you. That's what it's about.
Amazing, Chris. Yeah, I totally believe that when you have external help of a coach, then you see more easily the things from outer perspective, and you are not like inside your bubble, because the coach helps you to get outside, as you describe the situations with your clients perfectly. So it's really one of the best ways how to move forward and how to grow. So really, and I'm very happy that you shared these examples from real life stories from your clients.
And that is it. Literally, one of them was a few months ago. These are real lives. These are things that people are really struggling with. And it tends to be that everybody comes with different things, but when you dig deep, it's all the same. When you dig deep, it's all resulting from us being full of self-doubt or not feeling worthy enough or feeling angry all the time. You could literally say it's on a handful of different patterns that people are running. And you think, but we're all so unique and individual. How can we all be the same? How can we have just a handful of really core problems? But here's the thing, we're all doing the social media thing. We're all doing the news thing on an evening and just watching the same TV. We're all having this unconscious programming going on in our minds all the time, constantly from our environment. So is there any, we're all going to be the same. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise that deep down, when you look at the core emotions, that's what's going on. And that's why we can get some really good tools that really help people just to feel better, freer, more courageous, more loving and more successful in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris,
Yeah.
what do you think? How to strengthen the self-confidence?
Self-confidence.
Any tips? Hmm.
So that's a really good question, Yana. I'm glad you asked that, particularly on this podcast, because I see self-confidence as two things. First of all, there's a confidence that is just a day-to-day self-confidence, where you are happy in your own skin, you like what you do, you enjoy life, and you feel confident day to day. So that's one level of self-confidence. And that stems from the understanding that, yes, we all feel the same with our not feeling enough. And when we understand and appreciate that we're all the same, and when we're able to have a little bit more compassion for ourselves, a little bit more love and affection for ourselves, and then you can get happier in your own skin. And that's day-to-day confidence. But there's also another kind of confidence as well, and I see it as two different things. Then there's the confidence of showing up when you need to. And this is more about courage than confidence, because courage is being able to do something that scares you. Courage is being able to take that first step when you need to take that first step. You've got to do something about it because it's been going on for too long now. How do I take that first step? And that's a confidence where you need courage. It's not a confidence where you never feel fear. It's a confidence where you feel the fear, but you find the courage where you're brave enough to take those steps and do it anyway. And here's the thing. You can look at the successful people in life. You can look at those on Instagram doing so well. And you know what? Everybody, every single person in life feels fear at some time. And we all need the ability to find courage. I'm sure you will see it on many people when they come to your podcast because they may not have done one before. There will be a little bit of worry, trepidation, and they need to find courage in themselves. It's the same in life. So for myself and my wife as well, we both do fire walks regularly. We try and get one in at least once a year. Someone will say, wow, you're crazy. But people do fire walks. It's a thing you can do for charity or an event. But believe me, those fires, those hot coals, they are 2,000 degrees centigrade. They are hot. And you've done this as well, right? You know this too. They are hot. But the thing is you still feel fear. There's not a single person there that doesn't feel the fear. But here's the thing. Everybody takes that first step. Everybody finds the courage deep down inside. And that's the second kind of confidence. When you need it the most, when you need to take the first step, then you can find that courage and that become brave in that moment and feel the fear, but just do it and then become proud of what you've done. So last weekend, my wife and I, we decided to climb a mountain called Pennygent in Yorkshire, where we are. Now, here's the thing. We're 50 years old, so we're not spring chickens anymore. We're not the fittest people in the world, but we look after ourselves. But it's a 10-mile walk only, so it's not too long, but it's almost vertical. It's very high. And here's the thing. The day before, there was a storm. And the storm was so bad that they gave it a name. If the weather people give a storm a name, that it's going to be bad, right? So there were 60-mile-per-hour winds, and we were going up this mountain. And I was thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if we should. Is this crazy? Is this a threat to life? You can have all these negative thoughts. Can I really do this? And you're not just thoughts, but you're feeling it. You're feeling it in your heart, right? You're worried in your nervous system. You can feel that fear. But we're a bit crazy. And some people call courage crazy, but courage shows up. And we went. And there was a couple of moments where we had a guide. There was a couple of moments on that face of that mountain where she was screaming at people saying, stay low, because it was so windy and she didn't want people blown off the side. There was a couple of moments like that. But here's the thing, we did it. We did it and, we achieved that. And we're now thinking that was amazing. That was so good. Let's do it again. Because, Jana, here's the thing. We go through life wondering what life is about. But most people go through life without even feeling alive. You don't get to feel alive until you're near death. Those moments in life when you're about to step on the firewalk and you do it. When you're about to climb the mountain and you do it. Those are the moments that you feel so alive in life. Those are the things when you're worried about entering a relationship, but then you do it when you're worried about changing your job, but then you do it. Those are the moments that you look back in life and go, yes, I remember that. It was so good. Might not have felt good at the time, but the remembering back is so good because of how alive you felt. It's such a good life when you look at those things. And we can all find ways. We can all find ways, you know. There's people I know who, you know, have problems with the way they walk because of various ailments, and they complain that they can't do this and can't do that. But then I go and meet a quadriplegic person who has no arms or legs, and yet they've done skydiving and all sorts. So our mindset and how we feel in our heart is what will make us either live a life full of adventure and creativity and love and fun and risk-taking, or it will make us live a life of wanting comfort and security and not reaching out for those things. Yeah, absolutely.
Our mind can be the biggest limit to ourselves, right? Because whatever we think.
As mine was, you know. I used to think I can't travel. My dad passed away when he was driving a truck, a lorry. You know, it was horrendous. And what if that happens to me? I can't travel. I can't go anywhere. I was filled with fear, not just in here, not in the head, but I would shake. I would be physically feeling it, you know? But then being able to move from that to a state where now I travel the world every year to different places and do these fire walks and meet different people, and I now coach people to change how they feel. And yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to do that. But we can all do it. I'm not special. You know, it's just human nature as to how we work. Once you know that and you can work with it, you can choose your life, you know? You can choose your life. And it,
Absolutely. Chris, tell me the firewalk which we did a few years ago. You do it regularly. This is amazing because I remember it was my first. I would say, well, not first because I jumped before from plane twice. So this was my first overcoming of fear. But this was another challenge to walk through the fire. It was so scary, but amazing afterwards. So you do it every year with Jessa, with your wife.
almost. Yeah, so sometimes we participate, sometimes we volunteer and help other people. And when you volunteer, you also get to do the firewalk yourself as well, after everyone
Amazing.
else. But you know what, Jana? This is a really important point, actually, because the last time when I was in Cologne, Germany, just this year, I got the opportunity to go on the fire lane where there was disabled people doing their firewalk. There was people with MS doing their firewalk. There was people who was missing a leg doing their firewalk. And I had to turn around at one moment because I was sobbing because of their courage. You see, we are affected deeply and emotionally when we see courage show up because we know we know that they are feeling scared. We know the struggles that they have just to get out of bed in the morning. But when someone like that shows up and they walk over fire, even if it's on their hands,
Like
however they
goosebumps
do
everywhere.
it, yes,
Yeah,
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 even if it's on their hands, when you experience seeing somebody like that do their firewalk, then, you know, hey, we can do it. You know, we can take
yeah.
those steps, can't we? Literally. And it's not just about the firewalk, though, yeah, or the mountain or the jumping out of the aeroplanes. We don't have to feel like that. It can be, you know, deciding that you want a better relationship. That's the big leap for many people. A relationship that makes you feel alive because you take risks. That's what it's about. Or it's about the job, or it's about the house, or whatever it is for any of your listeners. Those are your firewalks, those are your mountains, but don't make them bigger in your head than what they really are, which is what we tend to do, right? When we get a little problem, something happens, I can't pay the bills, or I'm going to lose my house, or let's not make it even bigger. Let's look at it and see it for what it is, and then get the steps and get the emotional resources right so that we can deal with them. Those are people's mountains and fires and aeroplanes, in my opinion.
This is a nice description of the everyday life's challenging what everyone, each of us are struggling sometimes with. Thank you for this, Chris, really for sharing. I really love also what you do with Jessa, that you do it together, that you overcome fears, or you do these challenges together, because you also strengthen the bond between each other, right? So
Yes.
this is also excellent.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I wouldn't travel, wouldn't go anywhere. I was so afraid. Yet my wife is from the other side of the world. And you know what? It didn't cause any problems. It didn't even show up. The first time I met her, so we met online. We've been married 21 years, I think. I think, no, definitely, if she watches this. Yeah, we've been married over 20 years, and we were seeing each other for about 2 years before that online and building a friendship. And she was in the Philippines, and she decided to go to Canada. And I thought Canada is safer than the Philippines. So I just went, got my first passport, took myself on the flight to Canada. There was a change in flights as well, so I had two different flights to get. And I'd never traveled, and it was just the most thrilling thing I'd ever done. The only emotion that I could feel, Jana, was when I was on that aeroplane. I was full of excitement, and I was showing everybody Jess's picture, saying, I'm going to meet this person for the first time ever. And I'm
Exciting.
so excited. I'm so excited to go see it. And everyone must have been looking at me thinking, wow, you're strange. I'm sure they were. Maybe I was. But I was so excited to see her in real life for the first time. That's what it was about. There was no anxiety at all. And that's what we can do with these tools, with this coaching. We can just
Mhm.
find a better, more confident, more sure of ourselves courage, real, genuine courage on the inside that shows up when you need it. And you can go and find your man, find your woman, find whoever it is that you need to live this life with. And when you do, there will be rocks and there will be bumps and dips in the relationship, because that's normal. And we're all normal, right? We all work in the same way. But the thing is, when you go through those together and you learn together and you learn a way of being together and experiencing life together, then it's incredible. It's incredible. Relationships exaggerate emotion. So when you get to a place of feeling happy and a place of feeling thankful for life, and you're in a relationship at the same time where you're both feeling the same, it makes those feelings more intense, more thankful, more happy. And it's a wonderful thing. And yeah, the idea is you'll go through the bumps, but when you do, the idea is to get through them as quickly as you can and to learn from every single one. Yeah, it's great. It's great. So yeah, I was the guy that was petrified of traveling, ended up marrying this lady from the Philippines, and here we are more than 20 years later, having this wonderful life, traveling and firewalking and mountain climbing. And I don't say this to boast, because the reason I say this is to show people what you can do. Show people
Absolutely.
whatever it is you want, whether it's the finances. If you don't have the finances there in your life and you need to make a change on that, you can. You just need to do something differently. Whether it's something with your heart, you can do it. You just need to do something differently. We all know the age-old saying, If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got, right? If you do something different, you're going to get a different result. You really will. Might not be the result you want. It might not be the result you want that you get, though, because life throws things in. So if you don't get the result you want, you've got to change your approach again and keep going. And with coaching, that's one thing a coach is really good at, is keeping you going, keeping you there, keeping you living to the things that you agree on, the things that you want for your life. Yeah, coaching is good for that.
Absolutely. And well, for how would you say, Chris, how to rebuild self-worth? Do you have any practical tips, except of course visiting and going to a coach, a life coach? Are there any steps which people can do to rebuild self-worth?
100%, Jana. And the first thing is to get rid of the belief that if you feel self-doubt at certain times in your life, that doesn't mean that you aren't worthy. We all feel doubtful at times. It's human nature. It's okay. And it's okay to feel as though you're not worthy from time to time. It's okay. We all go through this full world of emotions. It's only if it's a really big problem and you're suffering yourself in that you really don't feel worthy, or that you're really full of doubt, that you need to take an action. And when you do, that makes the change even more impactful. And the thing is, first of all, just take a look at yourself and look at what a miracle you are. Because whether you're big or small, whether you're happy or sad or whatever, whoever you are in life, or whatever you've done in the past, whoever you are, we're all a miracle in the sense that we are nothing but dust. We all know this. We are nothing but stardust. The iron that is running around in your blood is iron that can only exist because a star in the universe exploded. Imagine that. Every molecule in your body that is running around right now, keeping your heart beating, is from a dying star somewhere. Because that's where molecules are created. That is what you're made of. And yet, here we are having this amazing conversation on this amazing podcast. It's just mind-blowing how special we are when you look at what we are physically made of. And the way our brains take all of that matter and create us. What a miracle we are in life. And our heart, our heart is the first organ that we grow, and it's completely free. It's a pump powered by electricity that beats 100,000 times every single day. And all you have to do is eat a little bit of food, drink a bit of water, and it just does its job for you. And what's even more amazing is the more you work your heart, the stronger it gets. Incredible. You are incredible. And here's the other thing. If you're not feeling good in something, go for a run and you will get a rush of endorphins. You are a chemical factory, and you have the ability to create so many different kinds of hormones that will make you feel differently, that will help you achieve things in life, that will help you fall in love, that will help you be successful, that will help you feel confident. All of these are already within you. You are a marvel. Take a look in the mirror and feel that, because that's a bit better than saying, why me? Those questions that we used to ask ourselves, why me? Why can everyone else have such a good life apart from me? Why do I have to experience this? Our questions direct what we're focusing on. Ask better questions. How outstanding am I? How incredible is life? Look, this body that I've got, whether I like it or not, how amazing is it that I just get to have this time here on this planet and have these relationships with people and have fun and experience life and have children and whatever it is that you have in your life that fills you up. How amazing is that? How amazing. So if we do that, then the self-doubt, then the not feeling enough. If we do this regularly, you will start to feel, hey, I'm okay. In fact, I'm special.
So, if I may sum it up, I mean this part only to for people to realize the points. So, I was making big notes. So, definitely ask better questions, not why me, but ask better questions about life to grow, to change the state. Then you also mentioned body moving, that which helps to get to a better state of mind because of adrenaline and the positive
Yeah,
emotions of walking or running or any kind of physical activity. Then confidence, what help overcoming that, overcoming also third point, overcoming challenges, that when we overcome challenges, then we grow, then we tend to more believe in ourselves, and we feel more supported or strengthened within.
yeah, yes,
Any other points what I haven't
yeah.
mentioned from?
There's
Mhm.
there's so many, Anna. There's so many. So there's definitely another one. One that immediately comes to mind is
Uh-huh.
how much time do you let yourself dwell on certain things? Most people do this automatically, but do you consciously say, I'm not going to focus on that anymore. Instead, I'm going to focus on something different. What you focus on, you will find more of in your life. So if you focus on, I'm depressed, my life is terrible, if you focus on, why is this happening to me? If you focus on the negative, if you focus on the past, in that way, then you're going to find more of it in your future. You're going to find more reasons to be sad about things. You're going to look at the wars going on in the world, or the politics, or you're going to look at your life in the negative way, and you will, find a way to find more of those things, because that's what we do. But if you change your focus and have a really strong rule in yourself, in your nervous system, that says, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to find the good, because for everything bad that's happening in the world, there's equally good things as well. There's still babies being born. There's still funny things happening. There's still lives being saved. There's still heroes going beyond themselves. Bless you. There's still heroes going beyond themselves to self-sacrificing for others, good things happen everywhere in life. We should think about those too. You see, when you're driving your car and somebody cuts you off, you can get really angry. You can go, why did you cut me off? Why did you overtake me? You nearly hit me. You nearly killed me. You're going to kill someone one day. You can get really angry.
Mhm.
Or you can go, hey, I heard that your daughter's just been injured and you're trying to get to the hospital to be with her. Please go in front of me. The meaning you give to what the events that are happening to you in life, the meaning you give to them, change completely how you feel about them, which will change how you behave, which will change how you feel. Yes, 100% change your meanings into positive ones, because it's just not true that everything in life is bad. It's just not true that everybody is against you. Most people are so concerned about their own lives that they're not worrying about what you're doing. We're not all in a position where everybody's watching us all the time, judging us. They're not, because they're so in their own heads. So not everybody is doing that. Not everybody's out to get us. Not every politician is even bad. They may make some choices and some decisions that we don't agree with, which may have some consequences to them. But the thing is, they're just trying that they came into that job because they initially wanted the world to be a better place, you know? So when we look at people just like us, everybody is just like us, trying to get on in the world, trying to find a way, trying to make an improvement. If we appreciate that about them rather than seeing the bad, if we look at the good things that are happening in life, we will find more of that going forward. We will become a happier person in general, and we will become stronger because of that.
Mhm.
The emotional resource in happiness, in success, in being more positive is 100% linked to us being stronger. And when we're stronger, self-doubt just isn't an issue, you know? It's really not. It's really not. And we all deserve a life that's not full of self-doubt. We all deserve to have fun, joy. I mean, when did you last think to yourself, I need to have more fun in my life, you know? Maybe that can be a daily thought. What could I do that will make me laugh? Something a little bit cheeky, something a little bit, whatever it is, whatever it is, you know. It's a bit more fun, a bit more different kind of energy in your life or in your relationships. Can make you feel as though life is really alive.
Chris, I really loved the points you mentioned that what you have just shared, that what we focus on grows. So whatever,
Yeah.
if it's positive or negative, then it grows, and we tend to see these things more in our life, whether we realize it then or not. That means that our thoughts are much stronger than we can realize it actually, right?
Yes. Yes. Because if you think of how strong the negative emotions have been for people in the past,
Yeah.
that is just equally how strong the positive ones can be. You know, they really are. So if I've had a bad day, because you know what, guys, expect bad days. Those are the moments that are here to teach us, and when we figure out what they're teaching us, that's when we grow and feel good. So, but when I have a bad day, and I'll go for a walk. I will do something where it changes my physiology, so I won't be sat at my desk anymore. I'll go for a walk. I'll put my headphones on with some really great music. And when I'm walking, it's quite common that you go for a walk and just think, oh, I've only got 20 minutes, so I'll just go there and then come back. But then when you do that, you miss the reason why you're going. What if you go for a walk and you want to take everything in when you're walking? Take in the faces that you meet, take in the countryside you're walking through, take in the fact that it just feels good to be alive and to be breathing some good clean air into your lungs. Take in the miracle of life that we've just been speaking about, you know, rather than just thinking, I just need to go for this walk to get from out there and back, so I've done my 20-minute exercise, right? No, pause and feel it, not in your head, but in your heart. Feel it and move with it and fill yourself up with it. You can do that for 20 minutes a day. That's a very different way of being than just quickly, oh, I need to do my 20-minute exercise for the day, you know? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That means focusing on a present moment, be in
yeah,
the present, and whatever activity we are doing, if we are walking outside or meditating or just reading a book.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And just realizing what a miracle life is and how thankful we are. Here's the thing. If you feel thankful, if you feel gratitude, if you can think of someone you love and really you're thankful for them in your lives, if you can think of a place you like to be, maybe it's in the countryside, it is for me, maybe it's somewhere else for you, but a place that makes you feel really good and you can just think how thankful that I am. If you're in that state of being thankful and full of gratitude, it's impossible to be angry in those moments. Anger
Mhm.
and sadness and self-doubt do not fit in the same space as gratitude.
Yeah.
If, if you can get into that space of just feeling, oh, this life is incredible, if you can get there, then all the other things just fall away. It's
I'm looking
brilliant.
forward also to our another episode where we speak about your daily routines, because I strongly more and more, not now, but like during the last few years, I've been thinking that how really the daily routines are important. What we do, how we start our day, what we uh, what we think of, or what are our thoughts, because this influences our day really strongly and more than we realize.
Yes. Yes. Oh, do you want to talk about some of those now, or do you want to go into a second part?
Well, I want to. Well, this will be teasing for the next episode where we speak about your daily routines, but not to speak about your daily routines now. What do you think about how the morning routine or evening routine influences the day, or when we tend to, for example, think about the gratitude, what we are grateful for in our life, and things like this, for example.
Yeah. So first off, what matters about the mornings and the evenings and the middays? What matters is that you develop consistent habits that are built around you having a better, happier, more fulfilling, richer, real, feeling alive kind of life. And it's consistency that will bring that on board for you. Because I can sit here and give you some tools that I use in my coaching for people, like we've been speaking about for the past hour, all these different tools. And we can have the head knowledge, but they can come and go. We can read them somewhere, or we can listen to a podcast and they can come and go. The change that you're seeking comes from the doing, comes from the taking action, comes from the getting your pen and paper out and deciding this is going to be my routine for feeling happier, for finding my partner, for finding the job. This is going to be for showing up. How do I want to feel inside? This is going to be my routine. And having a morning routine, a night, whenever it is, to check in with yourself on how you have been during that day is incredible, because that's how we keep going. And yes, I have a routine, but most people do have a routine, but it's most people don't think it through. Most people don't say to themselves, this is what I'm going to do with purpose. Most people just wake up and let life happen to them rather than realize it's really happening for them. And it's up to them what they want to do. It's up to them what kind of pattern and habit they want every morning and every evening. It's up to them, you know. Most people don't act on that. Most people don't realize that it's up to them. But to have something positive that you do regularly is where you're going to get the change. That's when it happens. You can have an emotional moment where something changes. You can have, I've been this way all my life and suddenly have a realization. You suddenly change and feel different going forward. But it's in the consistency of life that these things start to change us long term. That's what it's about. So I'm 10,000% behind people having a really good routine. But it's got to be focused, and it's got to be a routine that works for them, that they enjoy, so that they keep doing it. It's got to be something you enjoy. Some people for meditation is the best thing ever. Other people say, I don't feel anything during meditation, and that's absolutely fine, because we're all different in those ways. That's absolutely fine. We've got to use what works for you. A life coach may be able to help you find some of those things, what works for you in your life, what fits your time scale, and what is aligned with your beliefs. Many of us are religious, believe in a God, and want that to be part of our routine. Many people aren't. So what do? How do they feel gratitude, and what are they thankful for? So have a routine, but one that really is fun, joyful, and works really well for you, and then just do it. Keep doing it.
Yeah, consistency is really key in whatever we do in our lives. One more question I have to you regarding the self confidence, because I strongly believe that comparing to other people influences this as well. Because the only person we should really compare ourselves is us, where we are heading, where we were in the past. So, what do you think? How to stop comparing to other people, especially with social media?
Yeah. So that will come when you start to do what we said earlier about loving yourself, about seeing who you are really and working with yourself. You will not need to look at what the other girls are wearing and compare that to you and feel bad about that, which we all do. But and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is when you're putting yourself down because of it, when you have the thoughts, oh, I don't look as good as that, or I don't this, or I don't that. Well, that's just not true, and don't fill yourself up with those because there are moments in life when you look so beautiful, so incredible. Most of those moments are when you have a natural smile about yourself. That's what life is about. That's just when you're being you, that's the most beautiful you. Not when you're pretending to be someone else. Just be you and be naturally you. And authenticity is a beautiful thing. Absolute beautiful thing. And if part of your morning routine or your evening routine is to look at yourself and go, yeah, I am special. I've done some incredible things in life, and I'm really happy with those things that I've done. If you do that every day, build that confidence, you just won't have time for looking at others and feeling bad about it. I had a client who I always remember from the Canary Islands, and she had a strange name, so I've never forgotten her, called Moon. And I was working with her, and it wasn't on video, it was just over the phone, and it was just one session that I had with this lady. She'd been brought up in the Canary Islands, Jana, and because of that, she'd burned her face in the sun quite badly when she was a teenager. And now she was in her 30s and single, and she used to, like ladies get ready in the morning, they have their makeup routine and like in front of a mirror with the robe on and doing their hair and doing their bits. And she used to look in that mirror and, yeah, she used to say, why me? Why am I burnt? Why am I this? Why do I have to struggle with these marks on my face? So I'm single. Does that mean I'm going to be single forever? Is anyone going to love me with this? And then she would put her makeup on and be brave, and she'd go out and do her job. She was a teacher, bless her. She would go and do her job, and then she'd come home at night time. And you ladies, you do the same thing in reverse, don't you? Sit down in front of that mirror again and start taking it all off and cleansing and everything. And she would do that and do the same thing again. Why me? How am I ever? I don't like me. And sometimes look away from the mirror and be upset. She didn't like that at all. So I worked with her, literally with her, it was just one session, completely changed that around for her. Completely. And now she looks in the mirror and she just remembers some stupid things that I did whilst we were on the call. Because I will find whatever it takes to find that change in people. Whatever it takes, I will do. So sometimes I'll be ludicrous, sometimes I'll be funny, sometimes I'll be outrageous, sometimes I'll use bright language if I have to. I will use anything in my power to help this person to stop that old pattern and create a new one. And she texted me a few weeks later and said, Chris, I just keep telling it that thoughts I used to have to do one. And now all I do is I go outside with the knowledge that all men want is to think that I'm smiling because of them. If a man thinks I'm smiling because of him, then he will be lit up because all a man wants is a happy partner, right? A happy wife. A happy wife, a happy life is the old saying. It's so true. If we think you are happy because of us, then that's like the magic. That's the potion that makes us fall in love with you. And she goes out there knowing that's the truth rather than this thing about her face. Yeah, yeah. So,
Lines together. Amazing, Chris. Amazing, Chris.
yeah, it's about being real, about being you and authentic and just giving yourself to others with your smile and your face and who you are inside. And when you do that, that authenticity comes across. And you don't need to compare yourself to others when you live a life like that.
Chris, thank you so much. Is there any message you would like to share with people who are watching or listening to today's episode?
Just a little one. I did think about this, Jana, because I thought you might ask it. So there was a guy, you may have heard of him, called W. Mitchell. Mitchell was in America when he was a young man. He had a girlfriend and he had a okay starting his life. He was a janitor. He was driving home on his motorbike once and an ice cream truck pulled out in front of him. And Mitchell's motorbike went underneath the ice cream truck, and there was a fault with his motorbike that meant that the petrol cap, the gas cap, popped off, and fuel spilled everywhere, all over the bike, all over him, and it sparked and ignited him, and he had the most severe burns. It was incredible. This thing that happened to Mitchell was just dreadful. He went into hospital, obviously, for a long time because he had these terrible burns all over himself. And he was thinking, gosh, is my life over? I mean, I was only a janitor, but I could achieve anything now. I look horrendous from head to toe. My girlfriend's going to leave me, and she did. She left him. And the plastic surgeons would come along and ask to see a photo of what he used to look like. What did he look like? They were saying. He pulled out this photo in his wallet and show them it, and they'd look at this photo and go, oh yeah, we can do a better job than that, don't worry. He said he was always telling this joke because he said that the nurses and the doctors were the most amazing people, and that they were the ones that helped him get through the months of pain that he was in whilst he could still feel the flames on his skin. But slowly he started to recover, and he went into business selling wood pellets for stove burning. The irony of that. And it was a successful business. He became a millionaire. So on that, Mitchell went and he learned to fly because he was a successful businessman and he could. He learned to fly. But the thing is, one day, when he had some friends with him, he was taking them on a flight. One day, he forgot to check the wings for ice, which is the thing you've really got to do every time you fly. Because he took off and they crash landed and he was paralyzed. He no longer could walk. He was completely paralyzed, wheelchair bound for the rest of his life now, and bent and disfigured. Because he could no longer use his legs, they took some of his toes off and put them on his hands as fingers. It was horrendous. Do you know what he did? He ran to be a local councillor to help his community, and his slogan was, I won't be just a pretty face. He helped the community to fight big business, and he really did good things, really achieved a lot as a local senator, helping people. He was an amazing man. And then he started doing public speaking, motivational speaking, and traveling the world. He can't move his body. He doesn't look good, but he can move people. He can move hearts. Mitchell bounced back, not once, but twice. And he's in a situation that none of us are in. We can all find a way. And that's my message. Is Mitchell's motto, Jana, was, it's not what happens to us in life that dictates our future or today. It's not what happens to us. Instead, it's what you do about it that counts. And I think one thing that's been resonating throughout this entire podcast is it's what we do. It's about making that change, regardless of what's happened. If you want a better life, reach out and get one. Grab one whilst it's there for you, because it's there for all of us, no matter what's happened, no matter what you've been through. It could be the most horrendous things, but we can find a way, and we can use the things that have happened in our past to show who we are, to show what we've been through, and show that we can make a difference in life. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it that counts. And that's Mitchell.
Thank you so much for this beautiful wish, and Chris, thank you for amazing talk during this today's podcast, today's episode. It's really I'm very honored, and I'm really happy to seeing you after such a long time, but also to talking to you about this very important topic. And thank you for your time, valuable information, and sharing
Thank
really
you.
amazing examples and
Thank you,
tips.
Jana. What you're doing with your podcast just moves me, because you're finding people with so many amazing stories, so many amazing insights. One message for everyone that listens to your podcast is these things work. Don't just listen and move on. Listen and use them. Do these things, and it will make such a difference. And Jana, don't stop what you're doing. It's incredible. It's incredible. You are literally having so many people showing up. I am moved. I am moved. So thank you. It's my honor to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
I think,
This
oh
is
my
it.
God.
This is
Thank
it.
you very
This is
much.
what it's about, isn't it? This is what it's about, making a difference.
Oh my God. Yes, well, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I started to cry. I was actually, there were moments where I needed to drink, because then I felt, oh my God, I will start to cry when you were sharing the deep stories about people, and actually it happened at the end. Thank
Good.
you for
That's
nice
it.
words, really. And and ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Ulliott, amazing life coach, and also book author. I will share his links to his website and social media in the description below. And I would like to thank you for watching today's episode and following podcast. If this episode inspired you, then definitely feel free to share with your friends, with your family members, and with anybody who needs a little encouragement during today or any day when you will be watching it or listening to today's episode. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time, because during next episode we will speak with Chris about his daily routines, and we will dig deeper into what makes his life more alive, more fulfilling. So definitely another amazing inspiration. Wish you a wonderful day and see you next Sunday. Bye bye.
Thank you, Jana. Bye bye.